Hello all, A Knife Tale here, bringing you another knife review, and today we're going to be looking at the Varga VBR Mark III, I want to say these are. I think these are the Mark IIIs. Yes, these are definitely the Mark IIIs. And as you can see, yeah, I like the knife. I bought it twice. This is a good one, so you could even turn off here and just go find one. Follow Mark Varga on Instagram. He's got another design out recently. I wish I could have gotten one, but I couldn't. I think he has some VBRs in stock. If you want to stop here, yeah, go right ahead. It might be only a VBR small or large, which is the Mark IVs, but this is the original full-size standard Varga VBR Mark III. It is in carbon fiber, titanium. I guess you call it a bolster lock. I mean, it's a frame lock, but it's got the overlays, and so yeah, bolsters. And they are in M390. Though you'll notice that it doesn't say it anywhere on the blade, because the blades, other than Mark Varga's logo, are sterile, and I love seeing that. So let's jump into specs real fast. These are both the same. You know what? I'm going to include something else here. 1 second. I'm not even going to pause. I'm back already. There's the Mark IV. There is a small version and a large version. I got the large. So, the original size of this knife was 3.5 blade inch, 8 1/8 on handle length, and 4 3/4. No, 4 5/8. A little more than 4 5/8 on the handle. And yeah, a little under 8 1/8 on the overall length. The large version has a 3 3, just under 3 3/4, but I would call that a 3.65, 3.7. Yeah, 3.7 inch blade. The overall length is 8 1/2, and the handle length is just shy of 4 7/8. So let's call that a 4.75. No, that's over 4.75. That would be 4.8. Yeah, 4.8-ish. So, we'll do a quick comparison here with, I guess, both of these knives. I'll just move them out of the way for a second and catch that, whatever that was falling off. We'll be seeing it soon. So let's see if I can get all of these in picture. I haven't done 4 together. The large or full-size comparison is the CVV Conspirator, and the small comparison is the CVV Elementum. Bring all of these knives right to the end here. Like so. Okay, so as you can see, the original full-size knife is a slightly larger than the Conspirator. It's got pretty much the same exact blade length. Maybe a hair more and a hair more handle, but no, I'm going to say almost exactly the same handle. Hair more blade length. Let's just double check that real fast. The Conspirator's blade length is just under that 3.5 mark, and the VBR's hits it. Yeah. The large is not that large. I mean, you're getting 3.7 inches of blade, and it's definitely longer than the others, but it is shorter. No, not shorter. It is not as tall. And you're not really getting that much more handle for that much more blade length. It is larger, though. This would be right in between what I would consider a full-size knife and a large knife. I think if it goes over that 3.8 inch, you're kind of pushing it. 3.7 is almost there. I'll call this a large knife that doesn't feel like a large knife. It feels just as EDCable as this thing, which is impressive, I will say. Thickness, I'm not even going to bother comparing to the Civivi Elementum, but I will bother comparing to the Conspirator because they are a bit thicker. And as you can see, yeah, they definitely are thicker. Both of these knives are thicker. It is to be noted, though, that they are both contoured. The smaller size one has more contouring than the original, which has a bit of contouring, but it's done over a larger area, so it doesn't look as much. Let's get this out of the way. Hopefully I can stop knocking things over. We will do a quick hardware check. That is what I've been knocking over, by the way. My drivers. D8. D8. D8 on the inlays. D8 on the pocket clip, and underneath there will be two more, one or two more T8 holding the frame together. That is the large. The exact same can be said for the Mark III medium. T8 all the way around. I love that. I love that a great deal. That we need that more. That is wonderful. That is someone who took into consideration and executed based on it. And it is just little things. Little things. This thing has a lot of little things. It looks pretty standard, pretty knife-ish. Just doesn't look like it's got a lot of flair, but there is a lot more than you think in this thing. 4.86 ounces, yeah, they're titanium frame locks, or bolster locks. So, they're not getting the ounce and inch. The original's larger. Well, it is taller, so that would make sense. I mean, the original is heavier, but it's taller, so it makes sense. You're not getting your ounce and inch, but 5-ounce knife for a knife, especially, and under 5 ounce for a knife of this size, yeah, it's not heavy at all. These things are wonderful in the pocket, and the clip is just fantastic too. It is a good design clip. It's got good retention. It's actually got quite a bit of retention on this one. I don't think... Yeah, these ones don't have quite as much retention. I noticed the new one does. Yes, this is pointy right here, and yes, it is a little sharp to pick up with, but you don't feel it. At no point have I ever said, oh yeah, that's sharp and uncomfortable. It's a wonderful milled clip. It works exceedingly well in the pocket, even on thinner pants like I'm wearing right now. Well, you can't see this, but yeah, my pants gave me more issue folding under than the clip did actually going over the lip. So, pretty darn wonderful in that regard. They're pretty easy to carry, and they have really no problems. My word. Those god darn bit drivers are just moving. So, handle thickness on the Mark III's, 554 thousandths. Yep, it's thick. It's thicker than most knives. Pretty much exactly the same handle thickness on... Come on now. On both of these, it's pretty much exactly the same. Blade stock. Woo! Big ol' 155 thousandths there. Big old 155 thousandths there. They have thick blade stocks. They are tough use knives, but the win comes in here. 14 thousandths behind the edge. Yeah, 14-ish thousandths, 13, 14. These are hollow ground. The secondary bevel is hollow ground. The primary bevel, well, you're not really going to get a consistent thickness behind this thing, but it is going to be definitely thicker considerably. Really? Only 17 thousandths? Yeah. Okay, 17 thousandths. That's actually even thinner than I thought it was going to be. It's still pretty thin up here, but the tip is, it's a compound grind. It's thicker up here. It's tougher up here, which is nice. This is not going to cause a problem. I mean, it might be a little bit of a pain in the sharpening, especially because I don't know the exact angles on these, which is something I wish. I think I've said this multiple times, but especially with compound ground knives, I want to know the edge. Oh, I just ran my finger along that edge, and look what that did. It just started shaving off a little bit of my finger. Yeah, these are sharp. They've stayed sharp. They performed extraordinarily well. But where was I? Compound grinds, especially because the edge angle can change. I wish they would tell us what they both are. I think on this knife, they're almost exactly the same. Probably 20 degrees per side. But I kind of wish I would know, particularly for the compound ground knives, because, yeah, if you're going to sharpen it, you don't want it looking weird, which if they're ground at different angles can quickly happen. It's a thing. I wish they'd do that. Okay, so actuation. Thumb studs, which are fantastic thumb studs, even though they look small and they don't look great. They have super, super grippy thumb studs. I mean, my word, these are grippy thumb studs. Wonderful thumb studs placed in wonderful position on both versions of these knives. They've got a nice, good flipper tab. Strong. Great for the light switch. Not so much for the push button, but you can kind of do it. I mean, it's not uncomfortable by any means. It's just, you still flop back a little bit. And, yeah. These are on bearings. And that one is not even as good as this one. Yeah, that's super controlled, slow drop shut. And ridiculously smooth while doing it. They're on bearings. This one, I think, is the tightest one of them. It's also got the heaviest detent. You'll hear it when I go like this. So much more of a metallic-y, hard snap. Where that one's got a little more of a echoey thud to it. But this one, ooh, they took this thing to the next level. I don't know if this is with all the new Mark IVs, with the large ones or the small ones, but woo, yes please. That is wonderful. Great bearing action, multiple deployment methods. Absolutely wonderful for that. These are unfortunately right hand only, so your lefties, you're kind of left out here. It is what it is. You're not always going to be considered. You're small, I guess, demographic. That's kind of how it goes. And this isn't exactly a ambidextrous lock style, so it is a great knife, though. So, unfortunately, you're left out there. And I just want to say, the smoothness on this knife is wonderful. And I have a little bit of grit in there. You see it. Yeah. There's some grit in all of them. Actually, I can feel the grit in that one. But that one's the tighter one by nature, so I'm not surprised there. This one, nothing. Wonderful smoothness. Wonderful consistency. The edge bevels are really well done. Very consistent. These things are made by Riot for Mark Varga. I believe they're Riot made, unless I'm completely off target there, but I don't think I am. They're wonderful. Riot does an amazing job. The transitions you can barely feel. The execution, the quality, the consistency is just there. It's all chamfered, it's all rounded nicely, it's all contoured. Yeah, the finishing work on these things are fantastic. The ergos, oh my word, this is possibly one of the most comfortable knives in existence. You don't feel the pocket clip, and this just rounded, wonderful, hand-hugging, contoured shape is just fantastic. The choke-up is fantastic on both of these. Yeah. Yes. Great. Please. You have way more than enough handle with this one. You still have more than enough handle with this one for even larger hands than mine. And you got the choke-up position. So, not a problem whatsoever. The choil on both of them, both styles, is it ends about here, which leaves you some life. Not as much as if it ended here, but yeah, no, that leaves you a little bit of life. And the stop pin is... Where is the stop pin on this thing? Oh, it's way up in front here. I thought it was internal. It's not attached to the blade, but it is internal. It's up there on, I think, both of them. Yes. The plunge grind on this one, in my opinion, is actually a little bit worse, unfortunately. It comes a little bit closer to the edge, but yeah, the stop pin's completely out of the way. No issues whatsoever. You can make your own choil. You have a little bit of life. No problem. Also, one thing I love is the rounded spine that fits into the handle. I don't know why, it looks very... I don't know why I enjoy that, but I do. I do. These are all belt satin finishes, as far as I know. Unless I'm completely blind and seeing something wrong. Yeah, they're all belt satin finishes. With the Arctic Storm, the Red Matter, and the Snakeskin carbon fiber. They cut. They perform wonderfully. Even the smaller one, yes. Did I? I don't think I checked the behind the edge thickness on the smaller one, did I? Or the large one. Yeah, same, right around that 14 thousandths. Yeah, they cut wonderfully. They've got a compound grind, you got enough strength at the tip. This is a performance. This is a usable, all-around great knife. This is almost essentially perfect. I don't know if I can find something that's wrong with this knife. Well, that's not true. There are two things that are not actually wrong with these knives. One is the angles of the carbon fiber. The flow of the carbon fiber matches from side to side, but for some reason my carbon fiber bends this way and then this way. Why? I don't know. That is super nitpicking. And the only other thing is, this one is just a hair off-center. The blade is not off-center. It is just the ground at the tip slightly off-center. I don't know if you'll be able to pick it up on camera. But it goes in deeper over here, which gets the tip off to the side a little bit. These two, however, are perfect. There is no play, left, down, up, or right on any of these things. They are just standard Riot quality in what is effectively a knife design that I have no real complaints over. At all. Yeah. As you'll notice, this one has been slightly modified. I didn't get this one off the drop. I got this one off the drop when they first dropped, and then I got this one slightly later after it had been modified. Brand new, but modified. I gotta do something about that. There's a pin sticking off the bottom of my the arm that holds my camera, and I keep hitting into it. Maybe I just gotta pay more attention. Something like that. So, yeah, back to the knives. Oh, and they also have these very nice back spacers. This one is geared, and it's got a hidden lanyard post. These ones don't, but I'm probably guessing that going forward they'll probably be more like this, considering this was the most recent iteration of the knife. And there's pivot collars now, too, which are almost polished. They're very reflective. So yeah, this is the one I use. It's done everything fantastically. I don't carry this one as much, and I've only carried this one a couple times. But I have used it. It's performed just as well. But this is a pretty common knife to find in my pocket, and it's wonderful. The Stonewash or Bee Blast, I'm not sure what you call that on this thing, hasn't even picked up that much in the way of snail trails or anything like that. The blade's still sharp. Yeah, these are great. These are wonderful. You want a knife that just sort of does all of it and does it really well. Varga VBR. Cannot recommend them enough. I think these come in... What does he usually sell them for? I can't recollect off the top of my head. I think they're in like the $325 to $350 range. And I think his new model, the button lock, is $370s, maybe? Or maybe these are $370s? I don't even know, but they're worth it. Period. Yes, they're basically perfect. And I'm persnickety. Normally that would bother me. The slightly off center tip. Didn't bother me that much, and it's only happened on this knife, and I don't think it's indication of poor quality control at all. It just sometimes happens. These are great user knives. They're premium, they're expensive. But they're doing everything that you really want out of a knife at this tier, and they're very well executed. Also, I want to say that even though this does not look like a whole lot of lock bar access, no problem whatsoever coming from the side. That's something I'm going to mention more, lock bar access. This one actually has even better lock bar access somehow. Yeah. There's nothing else to say. These things are wonderful. Check them out. Hopefully he's still got some. Hopefully he'll do more. I don't know if he's been selling them as quickly as he probably deserves to, because they're so wonderful, but yeah, these are designs that are right up there with what I consider some of the best overall designs. They're great looking knives. They kind of have I think it's been compared to a Hinderer aesthetic, and they do. They definitely do. They have a forward-leaning grip. They have the choil. They have the hand, but these things are like a more comfortable Hinderer, basically. They're just a more comfortable Hinderer, and they're cheaper. Yeah. Oh, and the jimping on these things are great. It's the perfect kind of jimping where it gives you that grip without being uncomfortable in any way, shape, or form. If you need it, yeah, this is the perfect jimping. I mean, it goes with the knife. It fits in. It is a knife that has clearly been extremely well thought out and finished to some of the better of Riot standards. And Riot has good standards. These are almost up there with Sharp by Design knives, which I consider the absolute best of the best when it comes to even re-aught. These are right up there. Maybe not quite as smooth, but they got arguably a better clip and more actuations usually than most of Sharp by Design knives have. So yeah, VBR Mark III and Mark IV in the large by Mark Varga. Follow him on Instagram. I will try to link him down in the description. His site, maybe. If you haven't, check them out. They're pretty great. And if you're looking for just like a couple premium knives, like you have maybe a collection of budget knives, or you just have a couple knives, you're not really looking into getting into large-scale collecting or the hobby of just enjoying knives, because it's more than just collecting. I'm a knife enthusiast and enjoyer, and I carry even the expensive ones. I use them. I also am, I'm not going to divulge too much, but I am relatively somewhat frequently, or in like a bakery, and guess what? Bakeries have boxes. Cardboard boxes. These can come in handy. My knives do get used. I mean, I'm not in there all the time, or even all that frequently as of late, but when I am in there, I have had more than a few occasions to use a knife. So even in something like that, where it's just sort of light, ultralight everyday use, yeah, I use my knives whenever I can. And even if you're not getting a large collection, these are great knives just to have one or two high-end knives. These are, yes. Yes, these are among there. Definitely. I like them quite a lot. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe if you would. Oh, I have a dog who's also bothering me, so I'm definitely wrapping it up now. Alright. See y'all guys later. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.